everybody, it's Christina from Card Making Magic. This is the card that I'm going to make today, and all I've used is just one set of dies. Now this is one of the new sets of dies from Sue Wilson, and this is from the Spanish collection, and this is Seville. So all I've done is cut my original packaging down. I've cut the label with the picture of the die on the front of it down to fit the packaging, and that will also fit the die. And this is now on a magnetic sheet that is stuck to the packaging, and that can be filed away now so that it's always together whenever I want to make this card. So the set of dies comes in 4 separate parts, and depending on how you use these you can get a different look. So both of these will give you a mat for your card. Put them both together and that will create a frame. Use the large one with the centre insert and you'll have quite a wide border. Use it with this one and you'll have a narrow border. This can be used on its own, it can be used in either of the 2 frames, like that, or it can be popped into the centre of that and give you another look by cutting out that aperture. But it all depends on how you want to use the dies. So to create my card I'm using pink and white. So from the largest die I've cut myself 2 of the shapes, and that's going to be my base card. From the next size down I cut myself 1 of the pink shapes, and I've also cut myself a white one, and then using this die all I've done is embossed the card. I haven't cut it, it's just embossed. Then using both of these 2 together I have cut myself a lacy frame, a lacy base, and then from the smallest die I've cut 2 pink layers. I have stamped and embossed a sentiment, and then I have cut 2 white layers. So I've taken my 2 base layers and I have used these 2 notches as my guideline, and coming straight across I've just scored a line, and all I'm going to do is just crease and fold that over, and then with some wet glue I'm going to apply glue along this edge, and I'm going to line up the card and fasten those 2 together. So once I have these glued together, there's the little hinge that we've just made, and now the card opens up and stands as I want it to stand. Now take the piece that you've just embossed, it's not been cut, it's just been embossed, and that's going to sit inside there as a lining for the card. Now to make sure that your card still closes correctly, you may need to just trim off the top of this when you add it inside the card. So that's the base now ready to work on. Now for the next part I've taken the pink layer, and on the back of the white lacy panel I've added in some foam tape, and I've put tiny little pieces in each of these corners which will just stop it collapsing, and that's going to sit along there. Now once that panel is glued in place with the foam tape, I'm just going to add in some ribbon along there and fasten it on the back, and I'm going to use a hot glue gun, but mind you don't burn your fingers. So once your ribbon's in place, those workings will be hidden when it's fastened to this front panel. So that's going to sit along there, but I'm going to add in some foam tape. So now we have that added to the card, the next thing we're going to do is work on these bits. And what we're going to do is take one of these pink layers and we're just going to cut it straight up the middle on the lengthways. And then it's going to be fastened around each side of the white panel so that it leaves just a small border, and I'm going to do that with both of them. Now once you cut your pink layer in half, you're just going to lay your foam pads along the cut edge, and because they're a little bit too long, I've cut one of them in half. So I'm going to put half along there and the other half along there, and then all you need to do is take the backings off, and with your white layer, make sure that you've got the embossed side out. You're going to line that up so that it has a nice neat edge along both sides and press it into place. Now once you have your little frame around them, one is going to sit inside the card and the other one with the verse on it is going on the front. And again, I've added some foam tape to the back of this, and that's just going to sit along there. So from the ribbon I've created a little bow, and that's going to have a little diamante centre in it, and it's time to pick out some flowers which are going to go down the left hand side. And as I always do, this is just a dry run to see what I like and where I like it. So just pop these in along here and see if that looks okay. So I'm going to put these in place with a hot glue gun, and I'll come back to you when I've done it. So I've added in my flowers. I've put a pearl in each corner of the sentiment, and I've also added a pearl swirl coming from the ribbon. Now the last thing I need to do is just glitz up my flowers. So with a wet glue, and this is Cosmic Shimmer Dries Clear, I'm just going to dot some of the glue onto my flowers, and then I'm going to sprinkle them very lightly with some glitter. And once you tap off the excess, and once that's dried, the glue will dry flat and the glitter will lie flat. But there is your finished card. So there we have the finished card, and don't forget that the inside is also finished. And this is a nice place for somebody to add their own greeting to the recipient. So from one set of dies, which is the Spanish collection called Seville from Sue Wilson, we've created 3 cards. All different shades, but all very pretty.